Why your house stops feeling like home. The psychology of outgrowing your space. There is a question that almost nobody asks out loud, not to their agent, not to their partner, not even to themselves. It is not about the market. It is not about the interest rate. It is quieter and more personal than any of those. It sounds like this. Why does this house no longer feel like mine? Research in psychology and neuroscience has shown consistently that the moment a home stops feeling like home almost never has anything to do with the house itself. It has to do with the human being living inside it. Today, we will examine 10 psychological reasons your home no longer feels like home. Not to convince you to sell, not to convince you to stay, but to give you the clearest possible understanding of what your mind is actually telling you. Because whatever you decide, you deserve to decide it with full awareness. Let us begin. 1. Your identity has simply outgrown the space. Psychologists call this self-concept evolution, the natural process of becoming someone new. The person who chose that house no longer matches who you are today. Your values have shifted, your vision has expanded, your sense of self has completely transformed. It sounds like this. I love my home. Nothing is technically wrong. But every morning I walk through these rooms and something feels slightly off. Like wearing clothes that used to fit perfectly, but now just do not anymore. That feeling has a name. It is not dissatisfaction, it is growth. You have not outgrown your house. You have outgrown the version of yourself who chose it. And that is something worth celebrating. 2 very different conversations are happening. One about a house that no longer fits. One about a person who has grown beyond what they once needed. Only one gets to the truth. 2. The novelty effect has run its course. Behavioral psychologists discovered something fascinating about the human brain. It is literally wired to stop noticing good things. It is called hedonic adaptation. The same neural pathways that once fired with excitement every time you walked through your front door have now been completely rewired by repetition and familiarity. It sounds like this. I remember when I first moved in, I could not believe this was mine. Now I walk in and I feel nothing. I do not even see it anymore. That is not ingratitude. That is not dissatisfaction. That is your brain operating at peak psychological efficiency, fully absorbing everything this space has to offer and quietly signaling that it is ready to fall in love all over again. Somewhere new. 2 very different conversations are happening. One about a home that no longer excites you. One about a brain that is ready for its next great love. Only one tells you what is really happening. 3. Your social circle has shifted directions. Social psychology research consistently shows that our sense of home is inseparable from our sense of belonging. Abraham Maslow placed belonging at the very center of human psychological needs. When the people who made your neighborhood feel alive, your friends, your community, your people, gradually move away, something profound happens inside you. It sounds like this. The neighborhood is the same, but the people who made it feel like home are gone. And now I walk outside and I feel like a stranger in a place I have lived for years. The walls stay the same, but the invisible emotional architecture that made those walls feel like home begins to dissolve quietly. What you are feeling is not loneliness. It is your attachment system, one of the most powerful psychological forces in human nature, pointing you toward where your people are now. 2 very different conversations are happening. One about a neighborhood that looks the same, one about a community that has already moved on. Only one explains what changed. 4. You have already mentally moved somewhere else. Psychologists call this mental simulation the brain's extraordinary ability to rehearse future realities before they actually happen. Your prefrontal cortex has already packed its bags. It has already walked through the rooms of your next home. It has already felt the morning light in a different kitchen. It sounds like this. I have not packed a single box, but I have already started noticing other houses. Really noticing them, imagining myself inside, running numbers in my head at random moments. My mind has already started moving. Researchers at Harvard discovered that the brain processes imagined experiences using the same neural networks as real ones, which is why your current home has started to feel slightly unreal, like a place you are visiting rather than living. This is not confusion. This is your most sophisticated psychological faculty, leading you forward with remarkable precision. Two very different conversations are happening. One about the home you are still living in. One about the home your mind has already moved into. Only one is honest about where you already are. 5. The space no longer supports your daily rituals. Environmental psychology, the science of how physical spaces shape human behavior and well-being, tells us something profound. When our environment stops supporting our daily rituals and routines, it creates a specific form of cognitive friction that accumulates silently every single day. It sounds like this. The office is really just a corner of the dining room. The kitchen worked when it was just the two of us, but now it does not. None of these things alone would make me move, but together they add up to something I feel every single day. Psychologist Roger Ulrich found that misalignment between our environment and our lifestyle creates measurable psychological stress, even when we cannot name exactly what is wrong. What you are feeling is not stress. It is your environment asking you to evolve it. Two very different conversations are happening. One about daily inconveniences that seem small. One about a life that has outgrown the container it is living in. Only one adds up to the real number. 6. You have simply achieved what this home represented. Psychologists call this the arrival fallacy, the quiet psychological deflation that follows the complete achievement of a significant goal. This home was once a dream, a target, a symbol of everything you were working toward, and you reached it completely and beautifully. It sounds like this. I remember when buying this house felt like everything. Now I pull into the driveway and I feel nothing. Not unhappy, just done. Like a chapter that has been fully read. But humans are fundamentally goal-seeking creatures. Once a goal is fully achieved, the psychological energy that drove us toward it must find a new direction. That restlessness you feel inside these walls is not ingratitude. It is the same magnificent drive that brought you here, asking where it gets to take you next. Two very different conversations are happening. One about a home that has nothing wrong with it. One about a person whose dream has already been fully realized and is ready for the next one. Only one explains the restlessness. 7. Your aesthetic intelligence has grown beyond your walls. Neuropsychology has discovered that aesthetic perception is not fixed at birth. It develops and expands throughout our lifetime. Every gallery you visited, every beautiful space you walked through, every design you studied, all of it rewires your visual cortex in ways you cannot fully see or measure until you come home. It sounds like this. I remember loving everything about this house. The colors, the layout, the details. And now I walk in and I see everything I would change. I feel slightly guilty about it, but I cannot stop seeing it. That is not vanity. That is not a lack of appreciation. This is not a criticism of your past choices. Those choices were perfect for who you were then. This is the most beautiful evidence that you have grown. Two very different conversations are happening. One about a home you chose with everything you knew. One about the person you have become since then. Only one is looking honestly at both. 8. The neighborhood energy no longer matches yours. Researchers call this person-environment fit, the measurable compatibility between an individual and their surroundings. When that fit begins to erode, your nervous system registers the misalignment daily, not in a dramatic way, but in 1,000 small moments of friction that accumulate into a quiet but persistent sense of not quite belonging. It sounds like this. I cannot always name it. The neighborhood is fine, safe, familiar. But somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like mine. I notice it most on quiet Sunday mornings when the contrast between where I am and where I feel I belong becomes very clear. You did not change your address stopped fitting who you are, and there is a meaningful difference between those two things. Two very different conversations are happening. One about a neighborhood that is perfectly fine. One about a person who has simply become someone this neighborhood no longer fits. Only one is worth having. 9. Your nervous system is craving a fresh start. Neuroplasticity, the brain's lifelong ability to rewire itself through new environments and new experiences, is one of the most powerful concepts in modern neuroscience. Novel environments literally stimulate the creation of new neural pathways, new ways of thinking, new ways of feeling, new ways of perceiving the world. It sounds like this. It is not that anything is wrong. Something is missing. A quality of aliveness. The feeling of possibility that comes with newness. I remember what that felt like, and I realize I have not felt it in a long time. William James wrote that the greatest revolution of our generation is the discovery that human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. Your nervous system already knows this. It has been asking for it quietly for a while now. Two very different conversations are happening. One about the comfort of staying in the familiar. One about what your brain is actually capable of when it is given something new. Only one moves forward. 10. Your home is no longer a place. It is the people you love. John Bowlby's attachment theory showed us that our deepest bonds are formed not with places, but with people. The most psychologically healthy families do not mourn the loss of a house. They carry the meaning with them. Because the meaning was never in the walls. It sounds like this. The house is still beautiful, the neighborhood is fine, but the children grew up and left. The friends moved away, and now I walk through rooms that hold every memory and somehow feel empty at the same time. It was at the dinners, the arguments, the celebrations, the ordinary Tuesday evenings that turned out to matter more than you knew. All of that goes with you, every single piece of it, always. Two very different conversations are happening. One about leaving a house, one about understanding that everything that made it home was never the house at all. Only one lets you move forward without leaving anything behind.
If any of this felt familiar, you are not alone. If you found this helpful, give it a like. It helps more people find us. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. This is Real Estate on the Couch.